The agreement was 4 pages long. Tunde had asked for that. Not a handshake, not a WhatsApp message, not a gentleman's understanding between old friends. 4 pages, witnessed, signed, with a lawyer present who belonged to neither of them. Emeka had agreed without argument. That was new. The project was called Greenfield Estate, 12 units of 2-bedroom apartments on a plot in Eliyele, on the quiet edge of Ibadan, where the city hadn't yet decided what it wanted to become. Emeka had sourced the land. Tunde had inspected it 3 times before signing anything, finding a drainage issue on the second visit that would have cost them both dearly. "You saved us 4 million naira," Emeka said. "I saved us," Tunde replied. "Just that." For the first 5 months, it was the best professional experience of Emeka's career. Not because everything went smoothly. It didn't. Cement prices jumped twice. A subcontractor disappeared with a partial payment. Rain delayed the roofing by 3 weeks. But every problem was solved by 2 men who had equal reason to care, and that changed the quality of the thinking entirely. Tunde ran the site. Emeka handled the financing and the client-facing work. When they disagreed, and they did, they argued until one of them found a better answer. Not until the more powerful one got tired of arguing. That, Emeka realized, was what he had been missing in every professional relationship he'd had since university. The day everything nearly collapsed was a Wednesday in March. A man named Alhaji Bello arrived at the site unannounced. He was not large, but he occupied space the way wealthy men learn to, slowly, with an expectation that the world will rearrange itself around him. He wore a crisp white kaftan and carried nothing. Men who carry nothing, Tunde had learned, are men who have other men to carry things for them. Alhaji Bello said he owned a portion of the land. He had documents. The next 4 hours were the longest of Emeka's professional life. Phone calls were made. The original land vendor was unreachable, then reachable, then suddenly unclear about what exactly he had sold and to whom. A land registry clerk arrived, looked at everything, said nothing useful, and left. By 4 p.m., Alhaji Bello was sitting in the site office, drinking the only cold Coke available, calmly explaining that he was a reasonable man, and that reasonable men could always find an arrangement. Emeka felt his stomach drop. He had been in rooms like this before. He knew what arrangement meant. Tunde stepped outside and made 1 phone call. He called an old woman named Aya Gabatamosi, 80 years old, half-blind, who had lived on that land's boundary since before either of them was born. She knew who had owned every inch of Eliyele for 50 years. She knew which sales were real and which were theater. She told Tunde what he needed to know in 4 minutes. Then she said, "That Bello tried this same thing in 2019 with a plot on Akala Road. The young man paid him. Don't pay him."